Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Khairunisa binti Sharin Azram, and today I will be presenting chapter 5 of Human Resource Management, which is about system and working hours. This topic focuses on how employees are compensated, how working hours are regulated, and the importance of fair systems in the workplace. So first thing first, I will tell about the introduction. So in any organization, fair compensation is crucial to attract and retain workers. Payment system must not only follow the law but also support national growth. If wages are too low, they limit economic growth. But if wages are higher, they may increase costs for employers but also improve living standard for employees. Similarly, flexible working hours are becoming more important because they attract talent and help employees to maintain a work-life balance. Next is wage and payment system. Employees are paid based on an agreed remuneration, and employers often provide extra payments to motivate workers to maximize productivity. Wage system usually include three components, which is basic wages, benefits, and incentives. The main goals of a wage system are to attract employees, retain them, motivate better performance, and keep the system simple and easy to manage. Okay, so this is the wage systems. There are two main types of wage systems. First is the time-rated system, where workers are paid based on the time they work. For example, RM10 per hour. Second is the piece-rated system, where workers are paid based on their output. For instance, RM2 for every product made. So the key difference is time-rated equals pay for time, while piece-rated equals pay for output. So here's the factors affecting individual levels of pay. So individual pay levels are influenced by several factors. For example, government laws like the minimum wage set pay standards. Unions may negotiate for higher wages and better benefits. Company policies on hiring, promotions, or working conditions like shift work and overtime also affect the pay. And lastly, if the company is profitable, it can afford to pay employees more. Other than the important factors, it also include the four factors, which is the first one is seniority, which is employees with longer service often receive higher pay, so that the longer they stay, the higher employers pay them. And then for the cost of living, wages may increase when living expenses rise. And then next is performance, which is when the employees who perform better are rewarded with higher pay. And lastly is skills, which is highly skilled workers are usually paid more. So this is the Employment Act and Labor Ordinance. So the Employment Act, along with the Sabah and Sarawak Labor Ordinance, provides legal protection for employees. For example, if an employer terminates a worker without notice, they must pay wages equal to the notice period. Deductions from wages cannot exceed 50%. So the employees are also entitled to retrenchment benefits, or maternity leave, overtime pay, and extra pay for working on rest day or public holidays. So this is the ordinary rate of pay. When weekly rated is weekly rate of pay equals to 6 days they work, while the hourly, daily, and piece rated employers, total wages earned on the preceding wage period equals to actual number of days worked during that wage period. So here is the payment of wages. By law, wages must be paid at least once a month, no later than 7th day after the wage period, which is the employers must provide a written statement of wages and deductions. So the deductions are only allowed under certain conditions such as EPF, SOSO, EIS, or trade union fees. Importantly, wages must be paid directly into the employee's bank account unless the employees request otherwise. So this is the reduction in wages. Sometimes wages may be reduced. This can happen due to financial problems in the company, poor employees' performance, or change in job roles, or even economic downturns such as a recession or pandemic. However, any reduction must comply with labor laws and employment contracts. Employers cannot cut wages unfairly. So here is the working hours in Employment Act 1955, which is an employee is not allowed to work more than 8 hours per day, more than 45 hours per week, more than 10 hours per day, and if spread over a period, and then more than 5 consecutive hours without a 13 minutes break. And for the rest day, in Employment Act 1955 and Sabah Sarawak Labour Ordinance, employees must get at least 1 rest day per week, usually falls on Sunday lah, but employee may fix other day if they wanted to. And then if required to work on a rest day, paid extra, rate depends on hourly, daily pay and hours work. Rest day is meant for employees' health, recovery and work-life balance. So this is the overtime work. Overtime is work done beyond normal hours, and they also have a limit, which is the limit is 104 overtime hours per month, and the payment rate is 1.5 times hourly rate for normal days, and 2 times for rest days, and 3 times for public holidays. However, excessive overtime can cause problems such as increased costs, lower morale, fatigue, stress, and lower productivity. So this is the shift work system. Hours of work, we have to at least. There is 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., 8 working hours with lunch break included, and the 9 a.m. until 5 p.m., 8 hours of working with lunch break included. Both are considered standard full-time working hours under the Employment Act, not exceeding 8 hours per day and 45 hours per week. There are several types of shift work systems. First is double day shifts, which is they divide the day into 2 shifts, and the 3 shift systems cover for 24 hours, common in factories or hospitals. So for double day shift, each shift usually lasts 8 to 12 hours. For example, morning shift 6 a.m. until 2 p.m., afternoon shift 2 p.m. until 10 p.m. The purpose is to extend production or operations beyond normal hours and common in factories, hospitals, transport, and service industries. And while the 3 shift works, the example of the 3 shift works, morning shift 6 a.m. until 2 p.m., afternoon shift 2 p.m. until 10 p.m., the night shift 10 p.m. until 6 a.m. And the purpose is to ensure continuous operations without stopping. And the common usually that use 3 shift work, common in factories, healthcare, security, and transportation. So this is the split shift. The meaning of split shift is a work schedule where an employee's working hours are divided into 2 or more separate parts in a day. For example, work time is from 8 a.m. until 12 p.m. and the break time is 12 p.m. until 4 p.m. and then work again on 4 p.m. until 8 p.m. The purpose is to match business peak hours like a restaurant, transport, customer service. And also it helps employers reduce idle time and manage labor costs. Beside is the rotating and permanent shift. So rotating shift, which is employees take turns working different shift, morning, afternoon, and night. And then for the example is 1 week morning shift, next week night shift, and then you can exchange the shift for the next week. And then the advantage is fair distribution of night and weekend work, but it also have disadvantage, which is can disturb sleep patterns and health. And the second is permanent shift, whereas employees work the same fixed shift all of the time. For the example, always morning shift from 8 a.m. into 4 p.m. or 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. The advantage, you have stable routine, easy work, and work-life balance. But also have disadvantage, which is some staff may always get the unpopular shift, which is they get the night shift. So here's I included the justification for shift work and the problem caused by shift work. So for the justification for shift work, which is continuous operations, just some industries, and then the increased productivity, which is dividing work into shifts, keep machines and resources running longer. And then the flexibility, they provide small working hour options for both employers and employees. And then the emergency readiness, which is ensures workers are always available in case of urgent needs. So the problem caused by shift works, first thing first is health issue. It disturbs sleep, fatigue, stress, higher risk of illness. And the work-life balance, difficult to spend time with family and friends, low morale, night shift or rotating shift can reduce motivation. And for the decreased productivity, tired workers may make more mistakes or work slower. And then for the last thing is higher cost, which is employers may need to pay allowance for night and overtime shift. So here is the alternative work hour scheduling. Today, companies also use alternative scheduling methods. This includes remote or home working, flexible hours and shorter weeks, maternity leave flexibility, sabbaticals, part-time work, and job rotation. These options give employees more flexibility while helping employers save costs and maintain productivity. And then next, I have key terms in flexi-time and benefit of flexi-time. So in the key term in flexi-time, they have core hours and the hours when all employees must be at work. Example, 10 a.m. until 3 p.m. And the bandwidth is the earliest and latest times employees can work. Example, 7 a.m. until 7 p.m. And for the settlement periods, the period weekly or monthly in which employees must complete their required hours. Example, 160 hours in a month. For the flexi bands, the time slots outside core hour when employees can choose the start or finish. For example, start between 7 a.m. until 10 p.m. and then finish between 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. Next is benefit of flexi time, which is better work-life balance for the employees can manage personal and family needs. And then for the higher job satisfaction, they have flexibility makes employees happier and more motivated. And then for the reduced absenteeism, fewer late arrivals or missed work days. And then next is increased productivity. Employees work during their most productive hours. And the lastly is easier requirement and retention, attract talent and reduces staff turnover. And the less traffic stress, employee can avoid peak hour commuting. So next, the job sharing. Job sharing is when two employees share one full-time job. Each works part-time but together complete the full workload. Part-time work, on the other hand, means working fewer hours than full-time. In Malaysia, it is defined as 30-70 of normal working hours. This option is popular among students, parents, retirees, and people looking for flexibility. So for the example, worker A work from 8 a.m. until 12 p.m. and the worker B work from 1 p.m. until 5 p.m. It also have advantage and disadvantages. The advantages is better work-life balance, keep continued job coverage, brings in different skills and perspective, but they also have disadvantages, which is need strong communication and coordination, risk of unequal workload, and the employer may face higher admin costs, which is they have 2 employees instead of 1. So this is the defining part-time work. Part-time work means employment where an employee work less than the normal full-time hours set by the employer or law. In Malaysia, under the Employment Part-Time Employees Regulations 2010, a part-time employee works more than 30% but less than 70% of the normal full-time hours. For the example, if full-time 48 hours per week, then the part-time must be between 15 to 33 hours per week. Who wants to work part-time? Have a lot. Students, parents, retirees, workers seeking for flexibility, people with multi-jobs, and individuals with health limits. So lastly, the conclusion. Fair payment systems are regulated working hours are essential to protect employees and ensure productivity. The Employment Act and Labour Ordinance play a vital role in balancing the interests of both employers and employees. While alternative work system like shift work, flexi-time and part-time arrangement offer flexibility, they must be managed carefully to avoid negative impact. Ultimately, the goal is to create a fair, healthy, and productive workplace for everyone. Thank you. That's all from me, Khairunisa.